Guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for stopping by and taking your time. You are awesome. Everyone who's new, my name is Alexei from Welovesamples. Welcome on board. Today, I would like to talk about passion fades, about hobby, and about, the feeling behind this, huge topic. Because it relates, I think, to everyone out there. It doesn't really matter what kind of things you do besides your daily job, or even if your passion or hobby became your daily job. So, inside my Facebook group, I was asked to do this video some weeks ago. I don't remember the whole conversation, but what I know is that there was a comment that said it became like ordinary, or when the hobby became ordinary or the passion became ordinary as an ordinary job, uh, you feel oftentimes depressed, things like that. So I would like to speak about that. um, I share my personal view, how I see it today, and what I've been through until this date, because there are some things, of course, I can share, and I think you will here and there maybe relate. And obviously, I'm excited if you leave a comment and say and share your personal situation, how you see that, because I mean it's a huge topic, and we have to be aware of what is going uh, inside our brain and what our mindset is behind everything that is connected to this topic. Okay, so my first hobby or my first passion started when I was 6 years old. I started with playing the piano, and actually, I never wanted to play the piano. I just enjoyed hearing how my father played, because he is a professional musician, and I always enjoy that. And at some point, my grandma said that you will play the piano, and I was like, I don't know, I don't want, because I knew how much already at this time, uh, it's a lot of work, even though you're like a child and you think, it's cool. But at some point, you understand, especially my background, because I was born in Russia. The Russian education is obviously like a little bit different, right? So the people there, most of the time, they are seeking like this. Even if it's a hobby, you have to put everything into it. So it's not like, oh, I just do it for fun. It's always fun, of course, here and there, but most of the time it's always like this kind of your daily job, even though you're a child, and it feels like that. It doesn't mean it's bad or it's good. So I try to see it as it is, like it is. You can't change the system, uh, because it depends, of course, what happens then after that. Because a lot of people, if you, of course, they started like to play something at an early age, an instrument in this case, you can become really good because you invested a lot of time during your childhood. And at 16 or 15, you can already decide if you want to do it professionally as a job, so become a musician, or doing something else with this music. I started when I was 6, and then it actually ended when I was 12. Why? Because at some point I remember I played a lot of concerts. Not a lot, but there were some concerts, definitely, through the years. And there was this concert. It was here in Germany, when I felt like it felt like pressure, and this pressure was. Mm, it's not what you actually want, because you are doing music because you love it, because you have a relationship to this music. But I felt always I don't have to go out, and be in the spotlight and present it to other people. It was always, I felt, I wanted to play for me, for myself, and not for someone else. So it wasn't never my goal. And this is where I felt this pressure. Although the concert was fine and everything was really good, I just stopped because I felt like, no, I don't want to be in this position anymore. It's not like who I am and how I feel. And yeah, so I had this break. And some years went by. I still played a little bit of the piano, but just for myself. So try to, compose and come up with ideas and do something here and there. And after school, so when I finished school, I had to decide what I should do with my life, basically. And yeah, there was, yeah, from my side, there was no like um, another way to do something else besides music. So I chosen to go this musical path, and did a college degree in music, 3 years, and a degree that was connected to have a certificate that I can um, become a teacher officially. And then I did 2 years of composing and 2 additional years in engineering. And then I started to work in the audio field. So, yeah, so 5 years from that point, and I'm here basically, right? So, this was this short path. In between, actually, this is what I actually wanted to talk about. Um, I started to play at 16. When I was 16 years old, I started to play American pool billiards. And I had like this, it, it, it was uh, it was really a huge point in my life where I understood like this is the game that I want to play, like really seriously, like somebody plays the chess or plays football. This is the game that I wanted to commit myself every single day. Even though I couldn't train, I still did exercising in terms of how to hold the stick, and or just watching videos, looking how people go from one position to the next, how to hit the ball the right way, etc. So I was really into it. And before that, I actually played tennis, but I stopped because the conditions were not good enough. So I said to myself, okay, I don't want to do it anymore. And I started to play pool billiards, where my passion became playing pool. So I did it for 6 years. And during that time, I had a lot of success, actually. But at some point, I understood that the game it wasn't the game where I lost the passion. It was actually the circumstances that I was at some point, yeah, just that came to my life, that I couldn't continue playing professional pool. First of all, because of the education or the studies, I had to move a lot to other places. I had to switch countries, so it wasn't really possible to continue to practice a lot. This was a huge role that played why I stopped at some point. And but I think the most important thing was after that, when I realized that I couldn't practice anymore the same way that I practiced when I had the time when I was a student, um, or was in school and then was a student, because the first education was still in the same city. I had to, as well, get somewhere the money to travel to the tournaments, and as well, it was a lot of uh, time investment. It was a lot of time that I had to put in, and I didn't have this time anymore. And obviously, you can't go to a tournament and having the success that you had before, or in my place, in my spot, and starting to lose. And at some point, of course, this happened, and I thought like, you know, you have this war inside you, because you know that this is the game that you want actually to play, but you can't play it on the same level that you played maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And this is where I had like this fight inside myself where I had to decide, what should I do? Should I stop and, yeah, just leaving it like this and saying, okay, it's fine. The good times are over. Or should I try to, continue and uh, fighting against this system, basically, which I did actually. This was the way that I decided, because um, yeah, my point of view is always you have to keep on pushing, pushing, and pushing until you see results. I had results, but then I saw this negative results, and at some point I just understood, like not only from my feeling inside myself, but like my head understood, like, hey, you have to stop, because it's, again, a lot of time that I have to put in. There are no results. I lose a lot of matches, or not going as far in the rankings that I was standing before. And three, it started to cost a lot of money, because before I was sponsored uh, until a point, and then the sponsorship was over, and, yeah, uh, you have to find the money, but you can't like do everything at once, right? You have to focus on one thing. Either you work or you play, but you can't uh, every time, and study in between. You can't do everything at the same time. So, yeah, it was a hard decision, but I said, okay, yeah, this book is over, this page is over. I have to start something new, and you can't live without a hobby. And then I decided to start a YouTube channel. This is what came out with Welovesamples, and I have a lot of fun. I don't see it as a hobby. I see it more as a passion. So I just want to share my experience that I, had and experience over the years with audio and music production, and topics around that, like this. So talk about topics that are connected to being a creator, or being a creative person, being in a creative field. Yeah, so it turned out to be this. But this is actually important, that I have to just mention it. Even if you give up um, on a hobby, even if it is your dream, you have to find something else, because otherwise you will lose, or be a lot more times in this depressive state. And this is obviously not supportive for your, yeah, for your life, for your being. So you have to find something that you feel that you are in a better position. And this is where I feel that I now am in a better control than I was before, because it was always connected to either the time, or the money, right? Actually, both. So here now, I just have to have this extra time, but I don't have to have to put in the money, actually, besides like buying the equipment, or something like that. But you just do it once. But if you do a hobby that is connected to, going somewhere every single time, and putting in, the yeah, the money for the transport, or buying extra stuff all the time, which here and there pull, even this hobby required me to do so. Still, yeah, or paying for the club, of course. It's still, the money is running every month. Yeah, so yeah, I have to decide. Um, Going back to music, and I think this is important transition, because most of the people will, uh, yeah, be more related to music or audio. I think that many people who start with music or audio, and then choose this path, doing it on a professional level, so trying to be in this industry, work in this industry, the first step is obviously to visit a college, right, or university, doing a program. I did it at the SAE. It's well known in America or England. There are other institutions, but in Germany or Australia, SAE is pretty well known. The issue is that I find, because I experienced it myself, that people after going outside the college, so when you finish this program, you understand only then, most of the time, because nobody's telling you that the reality is totally different than what you have experienced during your college. Because college is always like kind of this hype. You are every single time in perfect rooms. You work with great equipment. You have the opportunities. You have all the plugins. You have the teachers, the tutors who are telling you do this, not this, etc., etc. And then when you try to get into this industry, you realize that there are, most of the time, especially in the beginning, there are not a lot of opportunities because a lot of people don't know who you are, what you're capable of, and most of the time you're not capable of a lot of things because you just started, you just learned something for 2 3, sometimes 4 or 5 years, depending if you did the master degree. But this is like this point where you are still a newbie in the industry, because there are many people, they work 20, 25, 30 years, and you have to, yeah, uh, basically compete against those people. And this is pretty hard in the beginning because you don't have this experience, you don't have the time to put into it, or tell someone that you are experienced enough to do a job when you apply to something. And the second thing is, most jobs are still not in employment, so you have to be self-employed basically most of the time. At least this is how I see it, or do something like, yeah, 20, 30 hours per week, something else, completely else, just to make a living, to just go through life, as most people do, and on the side try to build up something that will turn into something more reliable, where you get the contacts, where you get the networking going, and projects, etc., etc. And this is where I feel that most people are not aware of when going for this industry, in music, in audio, in the creative industry, film, whatever. There are many different things that you can do as a creative. And this is what you are not taught as well. You are not taught in the school that you have to be prepared for this. There are some classes, but it's basically just jumping in this cold water after that. And this is where the point where you actually realize you started it actually as a hobby or a passion, both, of course. And then you are at the point where you have to kind of decide that you do some things that you actually even maybe don't like, because having this opportunity all the time, this perfect studios where you work, right? Or working on this amazing projects that you see that other people who are in the industry are doing, this is totally out of the conversation actually. So of course there may be some people who reach that point pretty quickly, but this is just an exception from tens of thousands of people out there. And most people, this is important here right now, what I say, because it's again, my position, the same what I have experienced when playing pool. You have to go through this more than other people will do it. So you have to remind yourself that most people will never reach that point where where they see that there is a future. You have to really decide, either you are going the whole way, right? Not stopping somewhere in the middle. Like, for example, my channel is a beautiful example. I said it in one video. I was like, I think 3 months in this channel and I had like 9 subscribers and I had like 30 or 35 videos. I don't remember. So the point is, if you see that there are no results, and there most of the time there will no results in the beginning, especially, you will feel depressed, and this is normal. This is how it is. You can't change it. You can't be like super, like this positive because you're trying to get something going, nothing works. You try to get this contact going. He doesn't reply to you, or you try to reach a studio, they say they don't have the time or whatever. So this is the point here. You have to keep on going and pushing more than others will do, because this is where you will win at the end of the day. And this is what I think as well, that maybe at some point, for example, this channel, because I said this is an example, you have to be consistent and persistent all the time if you want, especially in this industry, to make it, because it's one of the hardest industries, the music or audio industry, right? This creative industry. It's one of the hardest, and you have to be the hardest person out there. And this is where you will understand that your hobby and your passion that you had before, it will feel like, yeah, uh, a job. And there will be some days where you will feel like you don't want to do it because it feels, yeah, it's hard, and you don't feel comfortable because you're doing maybe some things that you never wanted to do, because you want to be creative but you can't, because this is a job that just has to be done, especially if being self-employed, as well. Like, again, most people, they are not aware how hard it is to get something going being self-employed. It's not easy, because people think that you will work all the time, right? But it's not like that. You have to do a lot more business than actually this creative work, because you have to do these contracts, find these projects, and this is what will take the most time from your daily work and your week, uh, in term in terms of to understand that actually 80% it's business and 20% is actually the work. Yeah, and this is where most people, again, are not taught as well in school. This is what I have experienced as well. Even though if you're not doing it like professionally or don't want to do it professionally, which I think a lot of people, yeah, just are in this position, you still want to reach a level. You want to become better, and you will still have these moments where you have to go through them, because there will be some of those moments, a lot of them, where you feel like you are putting in the time, but you don't see a lot of results. Whatever the results are, I don't know, what you have to decide for yourself what those results are. But this is again connected to success. So you can't be successful if you think that success will come super quick and super easy. Because again, even if someone is, showing something online, I did this, I did that, most of the time, those people, they went through hell a lot of times, through a lot of pain, a lot of depressive moments, a lot of depression maybe, or were in a depressive, mood for a lot of time, in order to reach this point that is finally working. Especially in this industry, this is the reality, and this is where most people are not aware of. Because in the other industries, of course, you have those moments, but not as much, because you are most of the time you're employed. You just have a basic, ordinary job to do, and oftentimes this job is not your passion, right? So it's just a job that you make a living with, and everything else is your passion, where you're I don't know, maybe composing music, or you're mixing, or you're recording, or you are an artist, you want to sing, you want to record, you want to compose, produce, and do everything together. And at some point, you will as well understand that it takes a lot of time. And time is again connected to struggle, because you will struggle through this process because it's a lot of work that you have to do. But you have to, what I do a lot of times when I feel like um, that it's maybe not working the way I want it, I have to remind myself that it's the process and not the result. So the result will come automatically if you are being in this process. So if you work towards a specific goal that you want to reach, because at some point you will reach it. It's not that it's miles away. It feels sometimes it's miles away, but if you're super concrete about this special achievement that you want to achieve, right? You will eventually reach it. It just takes some time, and you have to be aware of this. And again, most people that I talk in this industry, a lot of people are not aware, especially the people who start. They think that it's one song and they are famous, or it's one contact and they will get this huge deal or whatever. So it's not like that. And this is what I wanted to say for now. A huge point is as well um, pressure, because there are two types of pressure. So you have internal pressure, so your pressure that you're putting on yourself because you want to reach a goal. And you have a second pressure, it's the external pressure that actually only comes, um, depending on the situation. But I will say that for me, it will come only if you start to compare yourself to others. And most of the time, I always, if I see that someone is like always like, oh, I can't do this because I don't have that, but this guy has or this girl has. This is where I try to say, hey, it's not very beneficial, because you are not focusing actually the situation is focused not on yourself but on others, and this is where you uh, basically hold yourself at the same moment, at the same um, yeah moment, for sometimes maybe even weeks or even months. I don't know, depending on the situation, but it's not it's not good for your mindset. So you have to always try to focus on yourself, what you have right now, what you can do better tomorrow, and what you can achieve, what is actually achievable. Because again, maybe some people out there, they think that it's possible to, I don't know, start to compose for a Netflix series after a month after they uh, went outside the college, for example. Again, maybe one guy or one girl will do it from tens of thousands of students, but I think most people will need just more time and maybe never reach this point, depending on many different situations and circumstances. And this is where you always have to feel, you have to be aware of. This is what I remind myself as well. There are a lot of things that you can control, and there are a lot of things that you just can't control. And this is where you have to be composed, that you have to remind yourself every time that it's about the process, it's not about the result in the first place. And if you start to see only the results that others have, or the things that other people have, the studios that other are working in every single day but you are not, or they have beautiful projects but you don't, you feel even more depressed. And this is what will turn your output that you actually could give, right? it just shrinks it down, and you're not doing actually the most out of the possible situation because you don't focus the energy on yourself but on other things. My personal my personal point of view on this topic about passion, hobby, of course connected to depressive moments. um, I think it's important to remind yourself that, I will repeat myself, but it's really important where I understood again that definitely works for me, because if again you are in a creative industry, or you are a creative, you are working in this creative field, and the you have a lot of more like this unknown like moments where you really are not sure what will gonna happen, because this industry is built like that. It's a chaos. A lot of chaos is going on, and you have to somehow try to control it, but you can't control this whole chaos. You have to control your own situation. So it's about, again, it's about your personal process, and you have to go through difficult moments. There will be a lot of difficult moments. Even if you are doing it as a hobby, there will be times where you feel it doesn't go my way. I don't know. I sit there and have a writer's block, for example. Uh, people, how many people are out there that like are sitting there and they can't put three notes together in 2 weeks? It happens like every day. You will find a person who is not like putting out a track every second day, even though the time is there, but writer's block, mental block, pressure, inner pressure, external pressure. There are so many, again, so many obstacles, and yeah, just different things that you have to be aware of. And you can only be aware of this if you reflect on that. And this is, I think, one of those videos in the beginning when I started the channel. I talked about it. You have to reflect. And one important thing I want to mention as well, I feel more and more that there is no other solution to being in this depressive state of mind, right? For most of the time, because something is maybe not working. Why? Because what is the other solution? I mean, what is the other path that you can go? There is no other path. The only path is that you are doing what you are doing, and you are doing it the best way you can. And everything else, again, sometimes it lies in your hands, if you can control it, if you can make a call, if you can, are able to write a polite message to someone that the person will get back to you. uh, you are in control of to go outside and meet new people, or call someone, write someone a message. I mentioned it before. Even starting a new channel, for example, and talk about things like I did as well. This is in your control box. This is what you can control. You can start a new channel, tell someone how talented you are, what projects you have worked on, etc., etc. So there are many things that you can control, but there are again many things that you can't control. For example, that maybe you will need 2 or 3 years until an important person who will be responsible maybe for the whole career of yours, who will watch this video and will see that this person is actually someone that he or she wants to work with. You never know, but this is what I tell people all the time who are actually complaining that something is not working. And this is, you have to find new opportunities, new ways. You have to go outside. You have to do some things that are other people are not doing as much, maybe, right? So again, try to be ahead of others, but first try to be ahead of yourself. So comparing with others, I think again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. all the time. Again, it's cool to look what other are doing, and as well trying to get some help because they're maybe a little bit further away than you are. But when you start, or when you know that, for example, you can just only invest 2 hours per week doing audio and music, and other people, they have the time to put in like 20 hours, there's already a big difference. And you can't expect that you will have the same results. Even if you're talented, again, you can't expect these results. If the circumstances are not in the right, place, the right place, in the right spot, it's kind of impossible to think that you can be someone else who you are actually not. And this is what I said when I said about, told you the story about the American pool. I understood that I can't be the person who I was before, because the circumstances I was in, they didn't allow me to be this person anymore. And I was fighting all the time, like this, this inner fight. You want to push, but you can't. You're always holding back because of the circumstances. And this is only is possible to get out of this zone. And it was oftentimes super negative, of course, only when you start to realize that this is actually the case. And sometimes it's only possible by someone else. So it's not always you, but you can definitely do this exercise of reflecting and seeing, hey, is everything the way that, should be? And if not, you have to decide what you actually are doing for this and what you're not doing for this, what you can control and what you can't control. Guys, it was a huge topic. I would be glad if you share your story in the comments. Do it. Yeah, you can leave me a sub if you want to see me on the channel again. Yeah, there will be more topics like that. If you have anything that you would like to add or I should do as a topic, write me a comment, leave me a comment. I will get back to you. You can support this channel actually by buying me a coffee. I was super surprised a couple of days ago when I received 3 cups of coffee. It's amazing because it's a gift from a supporter and you never expect that. You can say, hey, you can support and you get this, this, and this, but you never actually, there's no expectation. So you just can say, hey, leave me a like or leave me a comment or, be a supporter. But expecting this, it's not possible. It's difficult, and you will be, and this is actually this, I want to mention it. If you expect that something will work out, I'm not sure if this is the right way to see it, because and this is actually super easy to understand. Why? Because if you expect that something will work out, like you expect that you will get this contract or you expect that this will happen, right? And if this will not happen, you will be super depressed. Why? Because you had this expectation. So go down with your expectations, be super realistic about where you stand, what you can do and cannot do at this moment, which is totally fine. Again, don't compare yourself every single time to everyone out there. Doesn't make really a lot of sense. Just concentrate and focus on you, because you are the important person, right? Nobody else is as important as you are. You are important. Everyone else is everyone else. So yeah, this is what I would like to leave you for now. So I will see you in the next video, guys. Thank you again for taking your time watching this video, and have a beautiful week. Peace.
Swag on over, little boy. Swag on over, little boy. Swag on over, little boy. Swag on over, little boy.